When it comes down to hand press manual operated espresso machines, though admittedly not my absolute favorite way to brew, I have to give them credit for creativity, at least more so than your standard pump driven espresso machine manufacturers. And over the years, I've brewed espresso on quite a few of them, but the Muvna Mach 8 has definitely taken the prize for the most uniquely designed, over-engineered, and surprisingly functional one yet. Powered by a hand crank and gear mechanism that rotates a large arm that presses down on a piston that then produces the pressure to brew espresso. But of course, there's a whole lot going on between how it looks and what it makes. So in this video, we're going to cover all of that, including its performance, abilities, and downsides. But first, in the spirit of full disclosure, the folks over at Cafe Sing sent me the Muvna Mach 8 espresso machine for review, but of course agreed to my terms of no access to the draft or the contents of this video prior to full public release. But with all that out of the way, we're going to dive right into it after a quick word from this video's sponsor, Third Wave Water. When it comes to brewing the best coffee, quality ingredients matter. And purely by the numbers, water makes up to 98% of what ends up in your cup, and it's absolutely vital to the long-term reliability of your equipment. So after months of testing and trials, I've landed on Third Wave Water formulas for all of my coffee preparation. I mean, not only is it designed to not produce scale or cause corrosion, but there's an option for every palate. Third Wave Water offers a wide variety of mineral blends, specifically designed to get the most out of your favorite roast level or brew type. So take control of what is arguably one of, if not the most important factor in brewing quality coffee today. And head over to thirdwavewater.com/Sprometheus, use the link in the description or code Sprometheus at checkout to save 10% off your first purchase. Thanks to Third Wave Water for sponsoring this video. Now let's get back into it. The Mach 8, though pretty straightforward in its overall use, does come needing some minor assembly as well as a whole crate of accessories. So as always, a quick feature breakdown is worthwhile. So when you crack open the hard case, as you can see, there is very little free real estate. In terms of the accessories, you've got a nice bottomless 58mm portafilter that includes an 18-gram basket and another basket with a uniquely designed pattern. There's also a puck screen, a blower tool, and a sturdy set of puck prep tools, a spinning distributor, and a push tamper. When it comes to the machine, as you can see, it does arrive mostly assembled. You've just got to drop in the drip tray and install the pressure gauge and hand crank with the included wrench and Allen key. Now, with the machine all put together, it is pretty clear on how it's used. Other than the piston that is removable from the top of the group, there is only one part that you can manipulate, and that is the handle that moves the mechanical arms that presses down on the piston itself. The arms of the Mach 8 are put into motion by a large centered gear set, and they are attached at multiple pivot points that move the whole arm apparatus in a circular motion, meaning a full press of the piston results in it being pulled back up to its starting position, which I'm sure is aimed at creating a simpler, more straightforward workflow. Now, let's get into the nitty-gritty, shall we? And I think where I want to start is with the pros, and the clearest one, at least in my eyes, just by looking at the Mach 8, is its build and materials. The unit itself is an extremely sturdy and stable espresso making platform, made of stainless steel, aluminum alloy, copper, and iron, all of which sits on a big slab of walnut. And the moving parts, like the gear system for instance, come well lubricated, and it's truly buttery smooth. And this buttery smooth gear system makes for a near effortless experience in terms of reaching proper brewing pressures, up to 12 bars with zero strain. It's deceptively easy to go way over your intended pressure if you're not paying close attention. On top of that, the crank and gear system does give you a decent level of control throughout the shot process. The rate at which you turn the handle allows for you to control the pressure being applied. For example, I've been running a slow build-up to 3 bars for pre-infusion, a quick crank to 6 to 8 bars for the extraction, and depending on the yield I'm aiming for, I can either let off the handle entirely, which drops the pressure quickly, or slow into a smooth ramp down. And finally, let's talk about the espresso specifically. The Mach 8 does a solid job at producing well-extracted, tasty espresso, and I found it capable of producing full glossy crema coverage and a nice overall depth of flavor. And because it has one of the larger brew chambers at 120 milliliters, it is able to brew some longer shots than its competitors, maxing out for me at around 70 grams with an 18-gram dose. At this point, if you're still here and you choose to spend your valuable time on the internet looking at reviews of hand-pressed manual espresso machines, you likely generally already know what to expect here, at least to a certain point, because many manual machines suffer from many of the same issues, and the Muvna Mach 8 is no different in that respect. But there are some that also are specific to it only. But I think the first place to start is with one of those carryover issues, and it is the bane of many manual espresso makers' existence, and that is preheating. Now, its importance is often debated, but personally, I think it's necessary, and the Muvna makes it not all that easy. The chamber itself is just a big hunk of steel, making it a big heatsink, but also the machine doesn't come with any way to block it, so you can fill and hold water inside. So, without a blank screen or a plug of some kind, preheating is the hassle of running water through on repeat. Though the shots themselves, after just a few flushes, do peak at around 130 to 140 degrees, which in my experience is pretty standard manual machine shot temp territory, without a really serious preheating regimen and a speedy workflow. Also on the topic of the chamber, it is kind of a pain to clean inside of since it's not easily removable, so be sure to utilize the puck screen and regular flushes to avoid any sort of coffee buildup. When it comes to the cons that I came across through the brewing process, the mechanics of the machine, as functional as they are in creating pressure, means that the piston itself is pressed and retracted in one full rotation. So no matter the size of the yield of the shot you're looking to make, you should fill the entire chamber. Otherwise, it takes a little longer for the machine to build pressure, putting it lower and lower in the chamber when the shot starts, and the piston will start pulling back up sooner, meaning you're cutting your shot short. Also, in terms of brewing, I would have liked to see a more classic basket in the mix, because personally, both of the high extraction baskets included are a little underwhelming, and they produced messier and thinner shots compared to an IMS basket I swapped in later on. And finally, the big con, so to speak, is the price point. At $1,600, it is a bit of a lopsided value proposition, because the Mach 8's espresso quality is very similar to other manual espresso makers on the market, meaning you're not getting better espresso for your money. So what you're really paying for is the materials, the build, the look, and the experience, which granted is pretty cool, but the value in that is really going to vary from person to person. When it comes to the Muvna Mach 8, in my opinion, the pros do outnumber the cons, but I think its price point, as it is in many other buying decisions, is going to be the biggest hurdle in broad adoption. But also, I don't think that this machine is aiming for that. It's obviously not trying to be the new Flare or Robot, which seem to be the relatively undisputed royalty of the hand-pressed market. But the Mach 8, in my mind, is functional art, and will likely find its way onto the counters of people who like it for that above all else. Because it's likely clear to both of us by now that you can make just as good of espresso for significantly less money. It's just without all that theater. Essentially, it's first and foremost a conversation piece, and the fact that it makes a properly tasty espresso is just kind of a nice bonus. But on that bombshell, I think it's time I start wrapping this one up, and as always, pass the conversation on to you. So what are your thoughts on the Muvna Mach 8? Is it a cool piece of coffee art, or is it an overpriced and over-engineered espresso maker? There's really no right or wrong answer here. I'm just sort of curious to see how the broader community sees it. So drop your answers to those questions and any others you may have in the comment section down below. And as always, see y'all in the next video. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Hit that little bell button for notifications when new videos drop. Check out my Instagram at Sprometheus for more coffee content. Help support the channel by considering becoming a member for unique exclusive perks. And as always, stay caffeinated. Pony Boy.